Hi, it's Lynn here. I've had quite a lot of interest from people asking if I do a tutorial to show you how I did the beaded spine in my last video for the junk journal that I made for my friend Mel for her birthday. So I'm going to do that. People were also interested in the fact that I'd made it out of a recycled cardboard box like this one here. So I just thought I'd quickly run through with you on that how I did it. That one I just cut all these flaps off. I kept this part for the spine. Here's one that I've prepared for another one that I'm doing. So this is what you're left with. It's just like a folder, and I've gessoed the outside, ready to carry on with that one. What I'm going to do is bind the edge here. The last time I did it with masking tape, just to make it a bit flatter and more finished, but it started to peel off a bit, so I had to re-glue it down. This time I thought I might do it just with some tissue. I haven't really decided on that, but it just makes the edges neater if you do that. And then obviously you decorate the front how you want it to be, and then you'll have to stick some paper over the inside here, which I did with her. So that's that one. This is another one that I've been working on, which, as you see, is made out of a pie box. And on this one I've actually kept the flaps on it and folded them in because the chipboard was a lot thinner. This one is made with corrugated card, so it's a lot sturdier, but this one is just like cereal box chipboard size. So I've kept all the flaps on and then just glued them down, and then, as you'll see on the outside here, this is actually a wallpaper sample that I got from a shop. So I've glued that on to the front and folded it down, and now that's ready to be folded over and glued down on the inside and finished. This was actually an idea that I got from Jenny Belly, so if you want to know more about that, you can check out her channel where she talks about it. And now I've made this one, which is a smaller one, and this is the one that we're going to be beading today. I've covered the inside of the spine here, you'll see, with duct tape to make it stronger, and here, like on the pie one, I've kept the flaps and glued those down on the inside. The cover then I covered with tissue paper and crinkled it up and then painted it, and then to make the spine stronger I've stuck some paper across here, and then I didn't really like the look of that, so now I've put a bit of burlap across here. This isn't finished, I'm going to do tons of other things to it, but this part of the spine will probably stay like that, so I can bead that now, and if I don't do it now it's going to take me ages to get to that point and you'll never get the video, so I thought I'd do that. This one's going to be a sort of just mixed media art journal, and these are the signatures that I'm going to put in it, which are actually recycled Christmas and birthday cards. As you'll see, there's the back of a card there. I've just found some cards that were good, fairly plain or whatever. I've gessoed on them, some of them, to get them prepared for painting again, and I've cut them so that they're more or less the right size for the book, and with a bit left on the outside to protect them. These ones have got 3 cards per signature, but obviously you can put as many as you want in them. This one I've already done a bit of painting on for a background, and these clamps on there are just to keep them all together properly and all the spines together, because that's where we're going to be doing the sewing. So I've got 3 of these signatures of 3 cards, so that's obviously going to give me 9 pages on each side, so 18 pages. So I've got a bit of a sore throat today. Okay, then the next thing you need to do is make yourself a template for where you want to do the stitching. And on here I've just folded over a piece of paper that is the same length here as the card, and then I've marked which side is the top, and then I've just laid that, well, that's how it's going to be laid on there. But what I actually did was measured the middle, so I found the centre, and then I got the beads that I'm going to use, and I just threaded some onto this pokey tool, really, because I wanted to see how many beads I would need in between each stitch. So I worked out how many I wanted, and measured that, and then afterwards I put my measurements, which are 1 inch in between, so each of my marks on there is 1 inch. So we're going to have 5 holes poked in there, but you can do as many as you want depending on how big the binding is, or you could only do 3 is the minimum, and then obviously you'd have more beads in between, but I've put 5 because I just, as these cards are fairly thick, I want it to be stitched in firmly. And the other thing is as well, you need to make sure that your bead hole is wide enough for your needle to pass through. I'm going to be using this very large sort of darning needle size, so some of my other beads it was too fat to completely pass through, so these are very wide holes. Some other ones that you can buy which have wide holes, I think they're called pony beads, which come in a lot of different colours. So that's that. And the other thing you'll need is some very strong thread. This I actually found in my mum's old sewing box. My stepdad used to be an upholsterer, so I think this was something that he had, and it's really strong thread, so you'll need something you know, that is fairly hefty, so that it's not going to break. And I've also threaded my needle and I've put it through double to give it even more strength, and you'll need quite a long length because you need to be able to move it around and then cut it off at the end afterwards. As I said in my last video as well, I learnt how to do this from Marianne Kingston, and she also does a whole tutorial about making the pages for junk journals and things. If you want something like I made for Mel or some other ideas, check out her videos, because she's got some really good tutorials. And she also did some tutorials about different fancier stitching without any beading on, but I decided to try something a bit different, so my spine was beaded just to be a bit different. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is, using this template, I'm going to fold it over this way so I can see, is you have to decide how many signatures you want. So I've got 3 signatures, so I need to do 3 rows. Okay, I need to find the centre, so it's about 2 inches wide, so let's just go a bit over there, that's probably about right. I'll put a mark there, that is the centre of the book, and then this is 6 inches. I get that on the centre, and this will be my middle mark. So I'll just put an X marks the spot for that one. You should probably do this actually with something that you can rub off afterwards. I'm not that bothered for this one because it's just going to be painted in. Okay, so that's my first middle hole, and now I match that up with my template in the centre. So I'm going to need a hole there, a hole there, a hole there, and a hole there. So that's the first lot of signatures. And as I say, this is almost 2 inches, so if I put that on the inch mark, and then I'll mark that again either side at the ½ inch mark. When you finished marking your spine, then you need to do the same thing on the signatures. So take your signature, find out which way round you want, make sure you've got the piece you've marked top at the top. I'm just going to eyeball this one into the centre, and then again I'm just going to mark with a pencil right on the centre spine where the holes are going to be. I'll do that for each one. Okay, then you need your pokey tool and just start working your way through the holes. You need to sort of make the hole reasonably big, because after a while they sort of self-heal a bit. This is the most tedious part of the operation. And you need to make the holes as well big enough so that your big fat needle can get through there. careful you don't jab yourself. Your fingers that are behind either. It hurts, man, it hurts. Okay. And then, well, you have to work through your spine in the same way. Your 3 rows. This one's a bit tougher to do. So I won't be able to see with that bird up on the top. Excuse me if I go out of shot a bit here, it's just difficult to do. I think I said before, but this, I've got a lot of work to do on this one yet. Not really. It's not going to look anything like this when it's finished. Probably won't finish altering the outside of it until I've used all the pages up inside, because it's a lot easier to use it as an art journal without lots of embellishments on the front, but I'll finish those off at the end when it's finished. Okay, so there we are. We've got our holes and we've got our holes in our pages. So, then we want to get our needle and cotton. Here's the one I prepared earlier. And a knot. And the beads that you want to use. Okay, let's try and get this in shot now. Usually what I do is just catch this cotton underneath one of those. It just stops the end pulling through when you're not looking. And then starting from your first signature, poke the needle through the middle hole and then through your middle hole. And then we know that we're going to have 3 beads on each stitch, so thread those on, purple, pink and yellow. Okay, thread those on. Now you can either go up or down, it doesn't really matter. So you've got to get, I'm going to go up, so I've got to find my next hole. Oh, it seems I've started on the middle one here, so never mind. It's a bit harder for me to find my hole, don't laugh. Because of this burlap. That's what I mean when I said about them self-healing, and it is very fiddly. Okay, there's my hole. So then you pull that through that's your first lot of beads. Okay, then obviously you've got to go through the same next hole up on your signature as well. Pull that through. Then we go in through the top hole and out of the top hole. Pull your cotton tight. Make sure these beads are tight. Okay, now we're going back down again. So if you want to thread your next beads on, as I'm going down, I'll thread my beads. I want that continuous colour, dark pink yellow. Okay, got your beads on, thread your needle back into the same hole you were in before, and hopefully it will go back in to the signature. If you think I look cat-handed doing this, it's because I am. And when you do it yourself, you will find how fiddly it is to do it. Let's flatten these down a bit. Okay, so there you can see we've got some. Okay, now you're here and you're going to go back through the middle hole. Again, into the back. And then thread your next line of beads on. So, what do I want next? Yellow. Yellow. Pink. And dark purple. Thread them onto your needle. And then into the next hole. Lift this up a bit just to look through and find the hole in the signature. It's being awkward and it doesn't want to go through. There we go. And pull that through and your beads should slot into place. Okay, then we go through the top hole next, and through the top hole there, turn it over, and then we're going to go back down again. So we'll be done that one. It's going to be the dark one first, then the pink one, then the yellow, and then go back down through the hole you've already done. And there you go, that's your line of beading done. And then when you get back into the inside, then you release your piece of cotton that you've got trapped and tie it off. and that is your signature sewn in. Cut that off. There we are. My first signature in the book, and your first line of beads on your spine. Right, now we're ready to sew in the next signature. I've just clipped this one together now, just to sort of keep it out of the way a bit. Got our next signature ready. I've got my needle and cotton threaded, so once again I'm just going to catch this cotton underneath there to keep it out of the way. And here we go again, so through the middle hole on the spine, pull the needle through, you dropped it. Purple, pink, yellow. Pull your beads up and find the next hole. This one's always tricky because of this burlap. Probably not my greatest idea, but through the other way again, just to make the hole bigger so I can see where it is. There we go. Come on. Get in there. That's it. The cotton caught up now. Let's pull that through there. Find the hole in the signature. Okay. And back through the top one. Out the top one here. Pink, purple. I suggest as well, when you measure your beads, just leave a little bit extra on either end. That's why these are bunching up a bit, because I should have just made the holes a fraction bigger apart, but I'm not really that bothered, hoping they'll sort itself out in the end. So now we go back down the hole that we already came up, which is easier said than done. There we go. And just lift this up so I can find the hole in the signature. That's it. Ooh. The hardest part of this is not getting it all knotted up, which is exactly what I've done here somehow. Right, there we go. Okay, then when you're back over here. Then we go back through the centre hole again and up. Next row of beads, yellow, pink, and then down through the next hole. Middle, through the top hole, and then your next row of beads, and then back again down the hole that you came out of. Good. And then once we're back in the middle, release your thread from the clip and tie it up. You want it sort of tight enough so that it's secure, but I'm just leaving a little bit of slack on there so that I can try and work those beads straighter on the front. Okay, trim it off. Get your third signature. Hook your thread in. And off we go again. Through the middle. Obviously you can take your time over this. If I was doing a junk journal like I made for Melanie before, then I would have probably taken all this out and done the holes again so that I could get these beads laying flat, but I mean, as it's only for this little art journal, maybe I quite like them wobbly. Gives it a bit of style. Okay, so again, on go the beads. Into the hole. Got it straight away this time. Into signatures. Ooh. Duct tape is a bit tricky sometimes. Back up to the top. There we go. Sorry if I'm making you a bit seasick with all this twisting and turning. Can't be helped. Go back through the middle. Back out through the middle hole again. And next lot of beads. The next one. I seem to have made myself another hole there. Back through the top. And then our last lot of beads. Yellow, pink, dark. Back through the last one. Into the middle. And then tie off. So there you are. It's not really that complicated, it's just very fiddly, and you've got to keep your patience because it can get annoying sometimes when everything gets knotted up. Let's take these off now. So there you are, that's your journal finished, all your signatures sewn in, and your nice beaded spine. So I hope that's helped all of you, and that you managed to do your own nice recycled. Let's save the planet and reuse as much as we can. Thanks for watching. Bye.